Welcome to IHIP News. Today I would like to share with the class what your brain looks like on Trump. Kylie, play the clip.
Reality is, I have no cash. It's all tied up. So right now, if I wanted to call a taxi cab, I can't do it. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a checking account. I have no place I can go take cash out except the little bit that I saved, and it's getting down to almost nothing.
So this is a classic case of what happens once you start to become addicted to Trumpism.
Yeah.
You know, and if we remember Rudy, he was the one that was at Four Seasons Total Landscaping with the hair dye dripping down his face, right? And then he was on that movie,
The Borat
movie.
Yes.
You know, basically
trying to get a hand job. And he's,
hammered all the time.
Yeah.
And here he is on camera saying this shit out loud. And this is what happens to the people who tether themselves to Trumpism.
Right.
This is exactly what happens to every single one of them. Trump is parasitic and he is transactional. He will suck up to a person and extract everything from them emotionally, psychologically, financially, uses everything up in them as all narcissists do, and then just discards them with a sociopathic disregard, no empathy, no care whatsoever. And I want to remind everybody that tens of millions of people voted for this man that surrounds himself with people like this. At one point, Rudy Giuliani was respected. It's so hard to remember that, but he was a mayor, of a major city, and he was never my kind of guy, but people really liked him after 9/11. He was like America's mayor and blah, blah, blah. This is how he's ending not only his career, but his life. This man is older than shit. He doesn't have that much longer. This video is forever. And it just shows the consequences of Trump loyalism.
Well, and they've already taken all of his personal property that had any value, his condo in New York or penthouse or whatever you call it, and they're fighting over the Florida because he defamed workers, the Georgia election workers. And here's the best part about it. Trump owes him over $2 million.
Right.
But won't pay him.
Right.
And Rudy won't go after him. Now the creditors, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, their attorneys have rights to that, but we know Trump's never going to pay that. But talk about somebody that just went down the rabbit hole, and he's disbarred. He can't even work as an attorney, and he should be.
And the same thing happened with Mike Lindell of My Pillow. Dead ass broke, that Kraken lawyer. You know, some of these people just kind of limp off and are never heard from again, which is probably what I would do.
I would agree. I would do that too.
But the lack of shame surrounding the people that involve themselves with Trump is somewhat breathtaking. But now we have a new clown car because he went through the starting lineup. So now the new people surrounding him, these are the bench warmers coming out. And that's why it resembles a national sex registry list, the people that he continues to roll out. But I'm very interested about the Republican embrace of RFK. And, I think that this administration are the most toxic, mentally broken, mentally unstable people. And I think there's addiction woven through this entire administration. Let's listen to what RFK has to say.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read.
He was at the bottom of his class, and then he started doing heroin. And then suddenly he could sit still and he could read. This is on video out there. This is a man who's going to be in charge of public health.
Right.
Who we have a video of saying that heroin helped him rise to the top of his class and read. And this is so insulting to so many opiate addicts that got addicted to opiates, Percocets, Oxycontin, at the FDA fraud in saying that this wasn't addicted, and they got it from their doctors, and then they started tightening the brakes on that. So many of these addicts had to go out and get heroin.
Right.
And then they're dead. There are deaths all over this country, opiate deaths. And this smug MFer with the brain worm and cut off, decapitated the whale and all this stuff says that. I mean, as somebody who watched somebody I really love suffer from an opiate addiction, that is so tone deaf and insulting to the American public.
Everything about him is insulting. His new big rant about he's going to get rid of all study of immunization or all study of diseases coming forward for 8 years. He's just going to put that on tap. Here's the deal. H1N1 is on the rise again. What's he going to do about it? He's going to ignore it. He's going to take all the regulation out of like food, and swine flu is going to come back. I mean, the product of his stupidity is going to be death. I mean, there's just no other way around it. He has no plan other than to get in there. And here's the deal. I agree. Maybe less gluten in food. There are things that could be done about the food that we eat and consume in America where nobody else in the world consumes.
Here's the problem that's going to happen. You have RFK and all of his ideas about high fructose corn syrup and artificial dyes, et cetera, okay? There's a lot of these things that everybody could agree on because a lot of these things are already banned in Europe,
right?
Okay? But what we have in the United States is we're going to have a corn lobby and the artificial food dye lobby, and we're going to have capitalism come head on with this stuff, and we're going to see how it's going to play out, because I'll tell you how it's played out so far. You have the gun lobby, and then you have the number one cause of death in this country for children, and it's guns. And the gun lobby and the profit always wins. So I have to say about this, good luck. I would personally love to see the Republican Party take on big business like this that poisons America. I mean, I'm not hopeful that then they would move on to the gun lobby, but America and Americans and all of the tens of millions of people that voted for Trump, that attend their little mega churches, they like their little tax policies, they value money and profit over human lives. They always have, and they always will. RFK Jr. will go down in flames because at the end of the day, all it takes is for some big fat cat billionaire to walk into the Oval Office, tell Trump how smart he is, how good looking he is, how athletic he is. And these artificial dyes make a lot of money, and you can be the ringleader of all of this. And it's curtains for RFK Jr. and the mixed messaging of health that he wants to, unleash on the American public. Some of his ideas one could agree with. A lot of them are batshit, but I will just always say there are real live experts out there that we can appoint to these positions. But Trumpism is not about that. It's about unhinged capitalism and unhinged morals, and people look for permission structures to still vote for him. And here's the good news for Democrats. All of those permission structures are gone. Nobody can look at somebody with a straight face and say, I voted for Trump because I like his policies, or I voted for Trump because I'm a faith, family, freedom voter. All of that is blown wide open. Tens of millions of Americans are exposed for the selfish hypocrites that they are. And so that's what Democrats need to cling on to right now. That's the message. You just start attacking, just viciously what hypocrites they are. Every single one of them, how hypocritical the entire movement is. It's bullshit that they give a shit about family. All of it is bullshit. And here's the deal. The majority of these people that voted, they don't give a shit about food dye.
No.
I mean, that's so far beyond what the average American is thinking about. And I agree with him on some of that stuff.
I do too.
I feel a lot when I go to Europe and I eat the food, I feel a million times better than when I come back here and eat this food. There's no question about it. But you can take away Fruit Loops from middle America, good luck.
Okay, here's something interesting. You know, all we heard about during the election was inflation, price of eggs, bacon. So Trump announced as of January 20th his new tariff, which aren't all policies announced on Truth Social by a president? Isn't that where you go for legislative knowledge? But anyway, 25% tax or 29% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada, which he says will until it stops the flow of illegal drugs and illegal migration. Walmart's already increasing their prices. All the prices are going to go up sky high. The consumer's going to pay the tax for that. So my question is, and here's the deal, these tariffs are not going to stop the influx of illegal drugs or illegal immigration. I mean, that's just, they're not designed to do that. He says they're going to, they're not. How long do you think these tariffs, where everything from Mexico's up 25%, everything from Canada's up 25%, they're probably going to start taxing our stuff. So American workers and farmers are going to sell less. How long does that go on before Trump says, this is bullshit? Because it could really throw the U.S. economy into a big, deep recession.
Here's the thing. You have like the hints from Elon Musk where he said we're going to go through temporary suffering.
That's right.
And so I don't know what their end game is here. You know, they tell the American public, Mexico's bringing in the fentanyl, all this stuff. There's no real response that the pharmaceutical companies created this crisis with Lortabs, Percocets, OxyContin. And we got millions of Americans addicted to this shit. And then we pulled it back. And, you know, we're now trying to regulate it. Then people turn to heroin, and now fentanyl is filling this. It's a situation that was created by unhinged capitalism. And then we never think about what happens in Mexico. Where do they get all their guns?
85% of Mexican guns come from the United States.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so this is not somebody who's going to conduct diplomacy that helps humanity.
No.
So all of these Christians that vote for all this crap are literally voting for death. And then I just want to remind everybody, I just want to remind you, the people that MAGA produces, the governor of our state, Kevin Stitt, tweeted, Satan is trying to get a foothold. This is the reality that the people surrounding Trump and that support Trump live in. This really weird world where they think Satan is this active character that's real, that is doing all of these nefarious things on earth, and they are the angel warriors that can defend it. So we're living in really weird times. I don't know what the hell Trump's going to do with the tariffs and the economy. I do know that he hates to admit he's wrong.
Well, that's right.
Or apologize or say, this isn't working. I screwed this up. That's never going to happen. I know what they're going to do is say, oh, these are the consequences of the Biden economy. We didn't really do this. We had to do this. And they're going to lie to the public that's just so desperate to cling on for justification for being morally bankrupt people with no backbone that didn't have the decency to vote for their fellow man and voted for that piece of shit to be president of the United States. So, I mean, we'll just wait and see.
It's going to be an interesting 4 years.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
It's so